warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, all. Okay, how are you today? How's it going? I hope you are in a good condition before we start our discussion this night. Okay, let me share this kind of presentation. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, before we start our discussion, let's pray based on our religion. For our discussion is being blessed by God. Okay, let's pray begin. Okay, finished. Now we can continue to our discussion. This is about the entertainment industry and its problem. The dark side of entertainment industry's success in South Korea. In this 85th episode, in Sunday, November 21st, 2021. Okay, this is the picture of the charming and gorgeous. Okay, before we can continue the discussion, let me introduce myself to you all because maybe one of you never see my face in the meeting before. Okay, my full name is Januar Lazwarti. You can call me Ardi. I was born and come from Pasuruan, East Java. I also grew up in Pasuruan, East Java. Now I'm just fresh graduate from Telkom University at Bachelor degree of Business Administration. That's my introduction. Okay, so we can continue to the next slides. Okay, before we talk furthermore about the dark side of the Korean entertainment, let's see this video. I hope you are enjoy this video. Let's watch it.
Korean dramas are being aired all around the world. Why are they so popular?
Well, I'm more in the music side, but I guess Korean movies, Korean dramas, and Korean music, they all have some connections when they spread out to the world. And Korean dramas are subject to the highest level of, I guess, conservative cultural trend in Asia. And I guess that relates to more certain countries and certain part of the world. And they tend to touch more on the family value and stuff like that.
Here in Turkey, melodramatic series have a huge audience. What are some other themes in Korean dramas that attract international attention?
Apart from family value, I guess more melodramatic scenes with a touch of innovative plots, I guess. For example, 별에서 온 그대, which is, I think in English, The Lover from the Other Star. It's about, a love story between the alien and the very famous actress who has certain limits to their lifelines, and then they have to hold the love line.
Oops, sorry. I think. Okay. Let's really start this video, okay? Sorry for this technical problem. So we can start. Or maybe we could restart this presentation because there is a small problem here. Tap.
Yeah, you may reshare your presentation, Mr. Ardi.
Okay.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, take your time. I'm sorry, guys.
I mean, be patient. Okay, take your time. It's okay.
Okay.
It's normal. Okay, while waiting for Mr. Ardi, you guys can prepare your perspective on South Korean entertainment. Okay.
Okay, let's start our session. Okay, let me start this video again.
Korean dramas are being aired all around the world. Why are they so popular?
Well, I'm more in the music side, but I guess Korean movies, Korean dramas, and Korean music, they all have some connections when they spread out to the world. And Korean dramas are subject to the highest level of, I guess, conservative cultural trend in Asia. And I guess that relates to more certain countries in a certain part of the world. And they tend to touch more on the family value and stuff like that.
Here in Turkey, melodramatic series have a huge audience. What are some other themes in Korean dramas that attract international attention?
Apart from family value, I guess more melodramatic scenes with a touch of innovative plots, I guess. For example, Yardesa Cotd, which is, I think in English, The Lover from the Other Star. It's about, a love story between the alien and the very famous actress who has certain limits to their lifelines, and then they have to hold the love line surrounding those limits. And we have some other kind of dramas which brings some impossible scientific fiction kind of plots into the love lines.
Do you think that people are getting bored by American produced series?
I guess to the people who are really used to the U.S. TV series, maybe bored a little bit because they're very different from the Korean dramas, to my knowledge. Korean dramas are more Asian conservative culture, like I said, family, melodramatic school scenes, whereas U.S. series actually kind of like cross the limits towards more violent, maybe more sexual stuff. Yes, like more free in terms of like censorship for TVs and stuff.
So, has the global reach and popularity of K-pop pushed people towards other Korean-made entertainment?
Sure, because some actors and actresses are actually from the K-pop idol bands, and I guess the global fan, the fandom deriving from the K-pop idol bands can, have some synergy within the fans of the Korean dramas and Korean movies, and vice versa.
All right. And last but not least, Jeff, would you have anything to recommend to our audiences to watch in Korean dramas?
I think relatively more recently there was a drama named Kimide Soup in Korean, which I can translate in English as The Forest of Secrets. I'm not sure if that's the official name, but it's probably is. Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's for sure going to be on my list to watch. Thank you so much, Jeff, for giving us that great review.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Okay, that's the opening video you can watch. I'm sorry for the small mistake before. And that was an interview between the to one of the South Korean entertainment expert. His name is Jeff Son. Now, I want to ask you about this small question before we start this serious discussion, this serious part. And then I hope you know about the Korean entertainment. Before I ask you, how do you know about the Korean entertainment? Maybe both of you can raise your hand. Maybe. Okay, Mr. Ahmad Fatullah Akita Putra, I give you the time.
Well, thank you for this precious time. It's the day for me for learning English, so I must speak up here. And well, not I suppose because it's gonna be something that I know it well. So I acknowledge that the existence of the Korean entertainment in the whole of my life, from the media, I mean, such as the television. Preliminary, I know about the Korean entertainment since I was uh, junior high school, what elementary, and at the time I watch several drama from Korea in the television, and I know about the Korean entertainment since of that time. And no, not I know, but I knew the Korean entertainment since that time. And in this recent time, the Korean entertainment is growing much influence in the daily life in my life, since many of my friends are quite the huge fans of some actors in the from the Korean, and I know that some of group of the musics or maybe the groups of the actors in the film, they are quite famous from the media social or from the YouTube or the Netflix. Uh, since I usually see a few of those kind of entertainment in the weekend or in the holiday in this recent time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Ahmad for your explanation about the Korean entertainment. Now to the next audience, maybe Mr. Rido, you can answer about the Korean entertainment.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ardi, for the opportunity. I thought it was Miss IU times, but she lost his hand. Okay, back then, if I try to remember how I know the Korean entertainment, it was in 2012, I think, when I was in the elementary school, and the first Korean entertainment that I already know at that time is the Korean song and Korean music, because we know that in Indonesia at 2010, and then 2011, and then 2012, the music in Indonesia is very standard, like band, and then there's no any various types of the music in Indonesia. But at that time, the Korean music can influence the Indonesian music, which there's a lot of boy band and girl band, boy group and girl groups that came to Indonesia, and it's affect a lot of it affect the Indonesian music types, where we don't know about the boy band yet, and then we don't know about the girl band yet, but the difference of the music in Korean, it affects the influence in Indonesia. And it was the first time I knew about the Korean entertainment, about the Korean music. And then I dig a bit deeper about the Korean entertainment when it came into the movie, that we knew that the some Korean movie, some Korean serials and some Korean movies are get into the global platform like Netflix, where it is a common platform that we watch videos, we watch movies, and when the Korean movies are get in the global platform like Netflix, then I also watch the movies. So that's how I know about the Korean entertainment.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Rido about your short explanation to Korean entertainment. Now the next is Miss Ayu. How do you know about Korean entertainment? Time speak.
Thank you, Mr. At first, I think I have the same opinion with Mr. Afida. I forget the first speaker. Since I watched television when I was children, it's kind of series drama, I think, with the title Full House. So that was my first journey to get to know more about Korean entertainment, so that I become into to their any part of entertainment, which is the boy band and the music as well. So last time I know the Korean entertainment from the communities that I joined, because we spread the awareness about the gender equality, which is related with several series in Korean. So that's all the sources that I can get to know about Korean entertainment. That's all I think. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ayu, for your explanation about the Korean entertainment. And now we can see this presentation. These are just example from Korean entertainment industry. There's Big Hit Entertainment, as Entertainment, CYP, and this is a picture of the Gangnam Style that ever popular at that time. Okay, now let me explain about the Korean entertainment. This is the short explanation. The Korean entertainment, we often call it Hallyu, is likely a Chinese term, which translated literally means is Korean wave. It's a collective term used to refer to the phenomenal growth of Korean culture and popular culture, encompassing everything. It's just like music, movies, drama, and to online games and Korean cuisine and so on. During former of the United States President Barack Obama in March 2012, he made reference of the Korean wave. He called it, which was made by country's top priority by the government. South Korea is one of the only countries in the world, if not only one, that has a dedicated goal to become the world's leading exporter of its popular culture. As we know, South Korea it is one of the modern or big country. It's just like United States and Britain, Japan, and so on. Uh, the way of South Korea to spread its culture is the way they are spreading with soft power. The soft power is described by Harvard political scientist His name is Joseph Nye by 1990. It refers to the way of the intangible power policy from the government's act by will through its image, rather than through hard force by using military force or economic power. Okay, now we can continue to the serious session. It is this discussion session. Okay, the first one question is, how popular is South Korean entertainment or K-pop around the world? Between you, maybe some of you could answer about this question. Please raise your hand. Okay, Mr. Moonshine, you can answer this question. Time speak.
Of course. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. I think uh, it's a rhetorical question, right? Because we don't have to answer it because we already know how popular K-pop nowadays. Even BTS got a stage to deliver their speech about something or deliver a message to the world. And United Nation also use them to campaign on something. So I think it's really popular, and also I think nowadays they are like a religion, and people can fight because of that, something like that. So I think yeah, that's for me. Thank you.
Okay, that's from Mr. Moonshine. Maybe now the next answer is Mr. Ahmad Fatullah. Mr. Ahmad Fatullah, I can give you a chance.
Yeah, thank you for this chance. Well, I suppose that they have the position of the godlike popularity since since a few of the fans of those idols make them as a god, and it's like a religion in their daily life. Seems like give what appraisal for what the idols, because they are the huge fans of them, so they are so very popular since the spread of the virality from the media social and many kinds of the media in our modern era.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Ahmad for your answer. I think there's many boys to answer here. I can give a chance to the girl to answer about this question. Maybe I give the chance to Miss Riri.
Okay, thank you, Mister. Hello? Hello?
Hello, hi. Okay.
Okay. As far as I know, the President Kim Dae-jung set up a special fundraising to build office for cultural content affairs, and around 15 million US dollars, and in rupees, around 615 billion rupees in one in 1997. Korean is really uh, have a big motivation to make cultural is more popular. Like you said before, it is about the Hallyu, because the Hallyu, the global community mission for Hallyu, is means to influence the societies to awareness of South Korean societies to separate in other countries. It's like a culture, a food, and the other things about the South Korea.
Okay, thank you, Miss Riri, for your answer about this first session. Okay, maybe we can continue to the next slide about the session. Okay, now let me explain about this question. How popular is K-pop? There are 3 points of this slide. Let me explain. Based on this statistic data, there are about 240 respondents in this survey, with 140 of them come from the United States. Following the United States, there are 31 respondents from Europe and 28 from Canada. The next is, as for gender, female respondents dominate the survey results with a total of 94.58%. Meanwhile, all transgender respondents with a total of 4 people come from the United States. Based on this second statistic data, it turns out that BTS is the most popular music group in the United States and the other countries. Unlike what's trending on the internet that show Blackpink, his girlfriend, who always races with BTS to beat the record as the fastest video to reach millions of views. It turned out that Monsta X and EXO are the second most favorite K-pop group and then followed by Blackpink. Okay, now we turn to the second question of this discussion. How come that South Korean pop culture become one of the most favorable and popular around the world? Maybe between of you can answer about this question. Okay, Mr. Moonshine, I will give you chance to answer this question. Time speak.
I'm sorry, I forgot to lower my hand.
Oh, okay. Maybe, okay, Mr. Rido, you can answer about this question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ardi. As far as I knew that how that the Korean pop culture can worldwide be well known in around the world is because they offer a very different ways in music and movies, like what I said before. At the year 2012, the music around the world is very typically same, like band and then stuff like that. And if we talk about girl band and boy band, maybe in Europe it is just popular at 90s, but the Korean made it more popular. And then for the movie, I believe that Korean offer a very different perspective of the movie, like what the speaker said first presentation, that if the West culture is most likely presenting violence and then so many things that can be bored for the watchers, and the Korean movies offer something new and offer something different. So there are a lot of people feel entertained by that music and video, and that's why a lot of country in the world has easily received the culture from Korea.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rido, for your explanation about this question. So he explained about how come that South Korean pop culture become one of the most favorable and popular is because their way to spread their culture around the world. It's just different between the Western and Korean. The Western is more prick to maybe prick to limit. Maybe there's some fighting scenes or maybe just like that. In the Korean, it's different one. The Korean is more mellow. It's more just like touching your heart. That's maybe why the Korean wave is so more popular around the world. Okay, thank you, Mr. Rido, for your explanation. And now the next audience, Miss Gusti Ayusari. I will give you chance to answer this question. Thanks, big.
Thank you for your time. So I do agree with the previous opinion that Korean is more interesting than Western, but I like to add something that from my point of view, why this Korean culture is the most valuable and popular, because I suppose the branding is so good. You know, like when you watch a a video of girl band or what's that
girl band or boys band, you will curious about something like her daily life, their daily life. I mean, and they will produce more and more about the video about daily life, and that's like kind of toxic for every single person who watched that. And probably this is kind of like the music psychology that's really toxic when they really like design the music to get to get more attention for every single person, like good to listen for everybody. So that's probably uh kind of things that I want to add for the opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Kusti, for your explanation about the Korean wave that's become popular around the world. Now, the next audience is Miss Ayu. I will give you a chance to answer this. Times B.
Well, thank you, Ardi. Actually, I'm against your opinion that Korean movies is mostly about mellow, sad, and dramas that probably most people only know this kind of background. But in fact, they also provide an action and even more attractive than Western, I think. But I do agree with Sari because the Korean movie seems good in judgment with their advertisement and the way they promote their celebrities. So they good at the marketing and to design their interface. I mean, you can see how perfect their they set the background scenes, the face, view, and everything when you see the whether in the Korean song clip or series. Yeah, that's all.
All right. Thank you, Miss Ayu, for your explanation about the second question discussion. Okay, now the last audience, Miss Riri. I will give you a chance to answer this.
Thank you, Mister. I assume it is because the local culture. So that's why the Korean culture is really popular because the government support the local cultures, like make the a good branding image is always based on the value and their true cultural character. It is a simple term like spirit of how you product such as a drama and music. The Korean government is trying to maintain the use of Hangul, for instance, the of uh, language in South Korea. This based on of the nature of the South Korea. So that's why when many people know about the sculptures, so they like and the cultural domination many countries.
Okay, thank you, Miss Riri, for your answer this question. Oh, now we can. Oh, there is Miss Aldo. Is also raising his hand. Maybe Miss Aldo, you can answer as last audience of this second question.
I'm not a miss actually, Mr. Ardi, but it's okay. Yeah, I want to also share my perspective on this. I want to bring a historical perspective on this question in terms of how South Korea culture become one of the most favorable and popular around the world. As far as I'm concerned, in the past they were really poor, right? As poor as Indonesians in 1950s. But how could they become so popular at the moment? As far as I know, after living in a military regime, especially in the late of 1980s, they opened so many industries that they hoped that in the past could be able to improve the economy. Therefore, some businessmen in the past, Korean elites also back then were trying to find other sectors which were more sustainable for their economics. That's why in the past, especially in the beginning of 1990s, they started trying to find another sustainable economy that can support their countries. That is why some industries, some companies started trying to do some deep research, okay, in terms of cultures, especially entertainment industries back then, because they saw that they looked at from US, for example, which is Hollywood, in which in the past Hollywood was one of the most popular entertainment industries in the world, and they did some research. Um, I've just read some articles saying that they compared, two things. Okay, the benefits of selling some cars, okay, and from entertainment industries. And back then, they found that entertainment industries were also very useful and beneficial for them to be their main sector. Therefore, they started building this economy by doing some research, like they shared some surveys to young generations regarding what um, what girl bands or boy groups that you liked back then. And most of young people or young generations were saying that they liked beautiful faces, beautiful and handsome faces that could also sing at the same time. That's why some entertainment industries try to build or select, okay, some people to be their artists, okay, or actors back then. As you can see, there's some the first or the newest girl groups or boy groups appeared in Korea since 1990s, because back then they started doing research, deep research, basically. And after that, subsequently, turns out that those industries were very compromising, okay, were very convincing for them. Therefore, after 2000s, they always, built these industries. These industries then continued to be their main industries, because it's becoming increasing and also beneficial for them back then. Hence, after that, as far as I know, they some entertainment industries also did some strict selections, to select their main artists to be the successful artists or actors until now even. But again, these selections could lead to some problems, right? That we are gonna talk more about, I think, in this talk, which is about the dark side of the South Korean itself. That's the thing that I could deliver, Ms. Ardi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ado, for your complete explanation about this second question. How the South Korean pop culture become one more favorable? He explained based on a history record about the Korean entertainment. Now we can continue to the next slide of this discussion about the Korean entertainment. As we see here, there is a Seotaji and Boys. They are first boy band group in South Korea before the emergence of BTS, Blackpink, and so on. Okay, let me explain about this the base of the Korean entertainment before it become popular from developing country South Korea until now. At the first base is reform era in South Korea in late 1980s, the beginning phase of liberalization of South Korea. At the first explanation about this is South Korea had a reform era in 1980s. As we know, K-pop, as we know, wouldn't exist without democracy and television. Specifically, South Korea's reformation of its democratic government started in 1987, with its accompanying modernization and lightening of censorship, and the effect of this change had on television show. Before the liberalization of South Korean media in late 80s, the music produced by broadcast networks was primarily either slow ballads or we could call trot. Lawrence Walk-ish fusion of traditional music with old pop standards. After 1987, though, the country's radio broadcasting expanded rapidly, and South Koreans become more regularly expose their entertainment to the public. Especially, they are influenced by American entertainment at the time. And then the second phase, the first immersion of an idol and entertainment in 1990s. Okay. At the emergence of the second entertainment K-pop idols is the emergence of Seo Taiji and Boys in 1990s. They are mostly influenced by American style of the entertainment at the time. The most known of their music is I Know, titled I Know. And the third phase is the development of South Korean entertainment. As we know, after Seo Taiji and Boys disbanded in 1995, uh, many businessmen in South Korea are focused on developing their entertainment industry, and it continued until 2000s, entering the self-contract era. That means most of the trainees of the Korean entertainment are overworked. They are in a strict contract to work it. Okay, the next slide is we can discuss about the dark side of the Korean entertainment. Let's see this video. I hope you enjoy.
Nice fam, this is the miserable life that K-pop superstars never tell you about. This video is about the dark side of K-pop. See, like I said in my previous video, K-pop is a lot about perfection. But behind these flawless faces, behind the fame and success, is a sad truth. Accepting this fate starts when they enter training under slave contracts. Teens as young as 13 are subjected to harsh and unhealthy rules. They sing and dance from morning till midnight, but they cannot eat too much to avoid gaining weight. Because those who get too heavy are encouraged to starve and drink only water.
してて多分1日に300キロカロリーぐらいしか取ってなかった時本当
Those who are not pretty enough based on South Korean beauty standards are advised to get plastic surgery, and those who are not straight have to hide it from the public. Most trainees also cannot date or go home to their families until they finish their contract. All this suffering just for a very slim chance of success. Now, let's say you get lucky enough to be part of a new K-pop group. Congrats! From now on, your life won't fully belong to you. A former K-pop star revealed when a new star earns money, a huge chunk of it goes straight to management to pay the debt they're owed for investing in training. On top of all of it, you also have to assume a certain role, a different identity. Your hairstyle, your behavior, and even your airport look, they are all a part of branding. It's like playing a character, except the movie goes on forever. Almost all your hours are dedicated to practice shows and concert tours. This plus a very restrictive diet can make you pass out on stage. But don't worry, you have the constant support of your group members, right? Because guess what? You also live in the same house 24/7. You cannot date, you cannot be friends with the opposite sex, you cannot interact with a member from a rival production company. K-pop idols belong only in their fans' romantic fantasies. Speaking of fans, while a lot of them are supportive and positive, some can go to extreme lengths to cyberbully or invade their idol's privacy. Just look at the story of the 25-year-old K-pop star Sugi. Hiya, a quick break. It seems like 78% of you are not subscribed yet. I would really appreciate if you joined the Night Farm and subscribe for more powerful videos. Sugi was brave enough to break away from the K-pop star image. She made her relationship public. She rebelled against the conservative female stereotype. She spoke openly about her mental health. And as a result, she was cyberbullied so harshly, something she openly shared in her last Instagram live video. And just days after, Suli took her own life. 그러니까 나한테 오해하지 마라. 난 나쁜 사람 아니야. This is what intense and unfair pressure does to a person. It is the same monster that took the lives of these other talented souls. Night Fam. This video is a wake-up call to the whole K-pop industry. For managements to treat their talents as humans with needs, not as property. For us as a society to stop expecting unrealistic beauty standards from these celebrities, or as a matter of fact from anyone. For South Korea to take concrete measures in addressing mental health issues. For K-pop fans to allow their idols to just be. This video is important to share because K-pop has a massive power in inspiring millions and saving people across the world. It is time we realize the voices behind it deserve to be saved too.
Okay, that's the dark side of the Korean entertainment that, as he explained at his video. Now we are presenting about the parts of the dark side of the K-pop. One of them is slavery contract that led mental fatigue among the trainees. Okay, and the second, I will explain more about the dark side of the K entertainment. The second description is mental illness that led to committing suicide. And the third one is there is most dark is sexism, sexual abuse, scandals, and prostitution. And the last one is a culture of capitalism. Okay, now we are actually had a most important question about this discussion. Despite one of the most biggest and successful entertainment in the world, Korean entertainment also had a bad side that could affect their talent show and their image in front of public. Give me your reaction. Please raise your hand about this phenomenon. You can answer about this. You can give your opinion about this dark side of K-pop. Okay, the first, Miss Ayu, I will give you chance to answer this question.
Hello, Mr. Yeah, I think I'm agree with the previous video since most of the Korean actress and actor were doing a suicide to end their life, and despite this, the fact that uh, they will obviously affect their mental health. They I think several groups as well also raising the awareness of for the people around the world. For example, like the recent BTS campaign. I forget what those that about. What was it about? I forget. But I think it's about the mental health, about love yourself, about self love. But I don't know what is specific. Perhaps other audience can help me to explain about this campaign, which is still related to our topic tonight. And I think, yeah, I do believe that everything has a bad side, include this suicide effect. But, yeah, that's all, Mr. RD.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ayu, for your explanation for this discussion. Maybe the next is Miss Riri. I will give you chance to answer about this problem.
Thank you, Mister. As far as I know, maybe the artists or actor Koreans, the reason why they suicide because so many pressure in their life, especially about their jobs, and they cannot face their problems and give the best of the best solution in their life. Just feel down when someone or hurters and netizens like uh give bad comment for them, so that's why they feel down, and and then they not they don't know about how to treat treat themselves as a good trait. I mean, love first yourself before the others in your. I think this is the first time that we should do, but they just a thing because there's so many problems. They only have decision. I mean, this is bad decision, but they think this is the best decision to fix their problem because so many
Okay.
pressures, violence, crimes. Maybe they got sexual embarrassment or the other things. We don't know about their problems and trouble, but the first thing they not love their body first. I mean, like that, Mister.
Okay, thank you, Miss Riri, for your explanation. And the next one is Miss Christy. I will give you chance to answer this.
Okay, thank you so much for the time. So, yeah, we talk about how the this Korean culture had a bad side that could affect their talent or show. So I have 2 points for this. The first one is the agency has shaped the characters of idol. So basically, every agency when they want to look for the new idol, they have already shaped the model of the idol which will debut soon. So uh, they should get the capability to get dance, acting, everything. So the first pressure probably comes for them. The next one, the second point, the pressure could be positive or negative. So the positive one, probably the idol can shape their abilities better, and the people could be inspired the idol. But the negative one, the idol must use their time to get their ability perfect. So that's probably the pressure, the perfections from the contract itself, um, push there a lot to work hard and to be better more and more. So then that is some kind of like consequences if they don't want to do that, or the it kind of and that is the dark side probably for every single agency. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Gusti, for your reaction of this dark side of K-pop entertainment. And maybe there is another audience that could give reaction about this dark side of Korean entertainment. Why there would be happen, and maybe you could give your another suggestion about this phenomenon. Maybe you can raise your hand. React about this dark side of Korean entertainment. Okay, maybe there's no one to raise their hands about this dark side of K-pop. No, we can. Okay. Maybe Mr. Ado, you can answer. Give your reaction.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ardi. Yeah, after looking at the video, it's very sad actually, right? Looking at the success of Korean entertainment industries, but we could see that some of their artists even are in a bad situation. Even some of them have committed suicide, right? So yeah, it just shows that even though the industries are successful, but it doesn't mean that the artists are not successful also at the same time. I'm interested in looking at some causes of your previous slides before. It's because of capitalism. So as far as I know, a lot of companies in a capitalism era are made to make profits, make big profits. So their workers, the prosperity of their workers is the second priority because of their the motives of gaining so much, a lot of profits, right? And I could say that artists are also workers here. Simply, workers are those who work for others, and in this occasion, artists are also workers working in a entertainment industries like SM Entertainments, YM Entertainments, and other entertainment industries in South Korea, right? So they are all they all obey to the rules made or imposed by their industries. But however, unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, the nature of capitalism is gaining profits. Therefore, the prosperity of the worker is their another priority of it. Hence, we could still see that they didn't really care of their artists' well-being, such as their as you can see in the video, they didn't or they couldn't even have a date, right? They must do strict diets and cannot eat whatever they want because they all must obey with the company's rule, even though it's not yeah, it's not like humanity, right? For humanity, I guess, because they strict your activities a lot when you become artists. And on the other hand, I could also see that one of your points is because of they also commit sexism and sexual abuses and so on. It might be because they didn't get some educational like perspective on sexual issues. Therefore, sometimes they also sometimes commit some sexual things that are bad for other people. And even they could commit suicide, right? So yeah, it could just show that these industries had so many drawbacks back then, and I hope that it could improve and change so that both artists and also industries could gain a success in the future. I think that's my simple reaction to your previous videos and statements, Mr. Adi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Aldo, for your reaction about this phenomenon. Maybe I will try to ask you some another question about this dark side. Maybe one of you know about the slave contract. Uh, give your solution how to solve this problem. Maybe in entertainment, as we know, the industry sometimes force their talents for their trainees to overwork more than 8 hours, as we know that the standard of work is 8 hours. So one of these entertainment industry is implementing the act. One of them is slave contract. Give me your reaction and solution about this dark side. Maybe I will choose Siti Anissa. Maybe you can answer about this phenomenon, slave contract in Korean entertainment. Maybe you could give your reaction, and maybe you also can give your solution about these problems. Miss Siti Anissa, are you there? Um, okay, maybe I will turn to the Miss Najiba. Maybe you can give your reaction about the dark side of Korean entertainment. As I explained, the one of the dark side of Korean entertainment is slave contract. Maybe you can give your reaction, and maybe you can give your solution about this problem.
Thank
I'll
you
give you a
for
chance.
the opportunity. I'm sorry, actually, I'm not, I don't know about the entertainment of South Korea more, but yeah, I'll try to practice my speaking.
Okay.
Yeah, I just know about the uh, entertainment South Korea is very danger if someone actor or another people are actress and get the bad bad experience. They so get the what mental illness and then so depression and depression and then until until kill themselves. And actually, if the problem can uh, solve with, I mean, if forgiven, if the mistake is forgiven, actually they don't do something like that. But I don't know the in the South Korea is like tradition in that country. If someone public figure get the bad bad problem, yeah, just I just uh, can speak that. Thank you, Mr.
Okay, thank you, Miss Najiba, for your explanation. Maybe there's another audience we can answer about this. Okay, Mr. Chikoneng, I will give you chance about this reaction. Okay, maybe you can also give your solution about this problem. Thank you.
Yeah, for the slavery, slavery context, I don't know exactly how the rules will work in the entertainment industry. Perhaps in this discussion, someone who really evolved in industrial entertainment industry will explain more about that. But regarding to the hours that we work in one of organization or institution, so it will depend on the bills, depend on the regulation that inherent in that institution. So we will difficult to change it, depend on the rules in every single nation or perhaps in every single regions. But for the sexual abuses, like several artists mentioned by yourself in the previous slide, I would like to say that Korean industry and not only sell their product based on how beautiful and also handsome the artists are, but also there are several entertainment. I don't know is it coming from K-pop or not, like Parasite that they get Oscar movies award, and then the Squid Game, they they do not sell their product based on how beautiful and handsome the artists are, but they sell the product based on the quality of the plot twist and also the quality how they bring a simple theme like the kids game, but it will be remarkable. Or perhaps they tell about disparities or the gap between the poor and also the rich one in the Parasite. So it's ridiculous. I would like to say that perhaps in the future, Korean will not sell from the appearance of the actress, but also sell from how genuine they fabricate the movies, depending on depending on the plots and also the what's that the plot twist and whatever they are, like they did in the several movies like Parasite and Squid Game. I think it is for me, and it will be prohibited or it will be reduce the sexual abuses among the actors when they focus on the content, not from the appearance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your explanation about this dark side. Maybe the next one is Miss Ayu. I'll give you chance to react this.
Thanks, Ardi. I will stay with Miss Chikoneng's opinion because I believe that the future of Korean entertainment will become more interested since they feel they will offer their quality in movie productions rather than only their actress or actor appearance. Well, I think if we're talking about this slave contract, yeah, isn't it? Yes, a slave contract.
Yes, that's
Uh, I'm not sure what the specific point stated in those contract, but I believe that there must be revised for them for the Korean people to in order to yeah perhaps to impose new policies, I think. But as an Indonesian people and as an individual, I have no idea to solve this problem, but to support them individually and perhaps to, I mean, uh, as far as I see that since many people are crazy with their actor and their actress, we I think they should how to say act properly without too fanatics and too over and shows their overreact to their how to say fandom, yeah, fandom, their fandom, so we can support them mentally, I mean by giving a simple supporting sentence through their official accounts or join the communities that related to the Korean actress awareness, yeah, related with the Korean actress awareness. And one of them, as far as I know, like what I mentioned before, the same example, I think, BTS, they have a specific fan base around the globe, which called ARMY, and these communities is act positively. So they even support their fandom, their favorite actress, to care about themselves first before care to anybody else, to anybody else reactions or opinions about themselves or against themselves. So that's all I think, but I don't know. Or is it applicable or not? What do you think, guys?
all right. Thank you, Miss Ayu, for give your opinion about this reaction. Maybe there's another one. Okay, Miss Gusti, give me your reaction about this.
Okay, thank you so much for the time. I'm going to talk about the slave contract that you said before. So probably slave contract it with a higher expectation at the first. Yeah, you know, like people want to become an idol, or probably they really want to debut or something like that. They will probably there's some kind of conditions like people want admitted by the world, or probably they want to be an artist because their ability or their ability, so they take it for the slave contract without think far about that, like think the long term. So but probably the rest of it, or several people who take the contract knows about the some of regulations, knows about the bad conditions, or the consequences by taking that contract itself. So yeah, that's my opinion why they probably take the slave contract as and really want to debut as an idol. So the solutions for me, um, as far as I know, there is some of like different regulations from each agency. So I talk about the idol who stay for, like girl band, boy band for singing or dancing. But I do not know about the rest of it, like the movie or actress and actor, because I have read about several like informations that talk about the ratio of the profit that the agency give like um the idol. So I don't know the agency. I forgot, but for sure there is a lot kind of like the cruel ratio that they give for um idol. Like if let's say one stage for an idol, they will divide the ratio into 20% for the group, and the rest of it 80% just for agency. That's kind of like slave contract that like idol, they push the idol or the trainee to be good performance on the stage, but they just give for 20%. Just imagine that there is one group what no there is no there are eight person in a group, which divided just that which that group just has 20% for the profit, for the salary from their just one stage performance. That's really little. So that's probably slave contract that I push on this discussion. So probably my solutions. I do agree with Miss Ayum's opinions before that every single fandom must have support with the mentality basically for their idol. So then they have spirit to perform or probably to take an action as an idol for sure. And probably each agency should like change their ratio of the salaries of like I said before. And the things that I knew because of I read several part of information, um, people admit that Picket Entertainment, which agency that um, debuting the BDS or Bangtan Sonyeondan, has the good ratio for their group, like 70% for their group idol and the rest of it for the agency. So it's probably matter for their work hard or something like that. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Miss Gusti, for your reaction about this. One of the key Korean entertainment. I mean, Korean entertainment in the dark side. Maybe I will give you another case of the. Maybe it's just not related with this topic. As I said, this is about the racism in Korean entertainment, as we had listened and see in the news before. The Korean is one of the countries. It's just because racism. As we know in the news, Indonesia, which ever followed Tokyo Olympic, that in Korean media, Indonesia are imaged in undeveloped country. Maybe Indonesia is bad civilization and so on. Maybe Korean is more just we call racism. How do you react about this case? Maybe one of you give your reaction about this. The main case is racism from South Korea. Maybe you can raise your hand. Okay, Mr. Chikoneng, I will give you an reaction about this.
So your question is depend on the statement confining by the Korean people to Indonesia, Mr. Layanur.
It is case in Tokyo Olympic. One of the
Yeah,
Korean media is cited that Indonesia is, as I remember, it's
yeah, underdeveloped and also
yeah, underdeveloped. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I got the point. Yeah, regarding to the the fact, perhaps it will be true when we look at the data. When we try to compare Indonesia and the Korean one, regarding how much the rich people in our country and how success our entertainment to be the international entertainment. If we look at, for example, like K-pop, perhaps it will be acquainted in the USA. When we look at as the culture in USA, they are proud of their products and they really appreciate their products. But in the modern societies and also globalization, the K-pop across not only the ASEAN, but also to the American continent one. So it will be the advantage that they can claim and also membandingkan, compare with the Indonesian one. That is the first. And second, I would like to say that in Korean, there are the supremacy civil. When we look at in Indonesia, Indonesia doesn't reach the supremacy civil. What is the supremacy civil exactly? Supremacy civil means that the president coming from the civilization, not from the military, albeit based on the history, Korean, there are several segregation between military and civil. But for the South Korea, they got supremacy civil, that civil will be the leader from their military. But unfortunately in Indonesia, civil is not as strong as the military one, because when we look at the data, especially, there are a lot of the retired general in our ministries coming from police and also the army. So it will be difficult for the president is coming from the civil to not take from that from their institution. Hence, there are several strategic position, especially for the corona pandemic, led by the army, not led by perhaps the health ministry. So in this occasion, we haven't gotten the supremacy civil in our administration or our government. So it will be tough to uh, to manage the nation wisely and prohibit the motive that is coming from the capitalism and so on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chikoneng. I suggest you come from Bandung, right, Mr. Chikoneng?
I'm coming from Banten.
Oh, Banten. Okay, okay. Thank you for your reaction of the racism that I had given to you. Okay, as we continue to the next slide. Okay. Please wait and okay, now we are going to this session. As the youth of Indonesia, who are the most valuable, energetic, and also open-minded generation for the nation's future, with this case in globalization effect, which country boundaries, cultures are fused, what should we do? In this case, with spread of the Korean wave, and then the Korean is also had a good side and then bad side on its entertainment. What should we do as Indonesian youth generation? Because this is one case of the globalization effect that many culture from the another country is spread into our country. What should we do about this? Maybe you can raise your hand. Maybe I will give another. Maybe just mean what should we do as Indonesian youth generation after we faced about the Korean wife, but we don't lose our pride to our culture. Maybe you can give your opinion maybe about this. I will choose Miss Sophie Irwa. Miss Sophie, are you there? Okay, maybe you can give your opinion maybe about this. What should we do as Indonesian youth generation? Miss Sophie, I cannot hear your voice.
Actually, I haven't spoken. Wait, I'm reading the point.
Okay.
Actually, okay, I haven't searched much about this topic. Also, I'm a bit late, so is it okay if I listening for a bit longer, then I come back if I get my point?
Okay, I got your point.
I'm sorry, sir.
Okay. Maybe I will choose to another audience. Maybe Miss Riri, you can give your opinion.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
For youth generation, we can we preserve about our culture, particularly about the local culture and love identity cultures, and don't don't forget about our culture, especially the local. I don't know. And I don't know, Mister. I just love the cultures.
Maybe we can we accept the Korean wave maybe, but we don't forget about our culture, our own culture maybe. You can give your reaction.
The youth generations maybe have can give the positive impact or the positive vibes with like this with some seminars. I mean, especially about the Indonesian culture, for instance, and to 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 make Indonesian separate like the Korean cultures in other country, like the festival, Indonesian festivals, uh, uh, like a dance song, but the local culture. When Independence Day, 17 August, we maybe the government will be support about the youth generation to make the festival, especially about the festival culture or culinary Indonesian food. I just give suggestion like that because we don't forget about our identity, because it's really necessary for us to love about our culture before love the other culture.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lee, for your reaction, your opinion. What should we do as a youth generation? But face we after we face the Korean wave, and then maybe there is another opinion. Maybe you can give your opinion about this. Maybe Miss Wafdan, you can give your opinion about this. Miss Wafdan, are you there? Miss Wafdan. Okay, there is no opinion. Maybe I will choose Miss Livia here to speak up and then give her opinion about this. How should we do after in this globalization era after we face the Korean wave? It's their entertainment, their good side, the bad side. One of the bad side is slave contract, racism, and so on. Maybe Miss Livia, give your opinion. What should we do as a youth generation?
I think we should like separate the good side and the bad side from the Korean K-pop culture, because of course they also have the good side, isn't it? Like the discipline, the work hard, try as much to be near almost or even almost perfect in everything they do, like dedicated their life to give the best show to their fans and industry. But also not to forget that we also human, like young generation should also still be themselves, but in the best version of themselves. Like they cannot just forget what they need as a human. And also mental health is one of the most concerned that usually in this kind of hustle culture, it is being undervalued, but it is what we need the most, especially during this kind of difficult times, this pandemic, and a lot of people feel isolated. They they lack of human interaction. So just remember these things. You have to reach your dream. Like make your dreams as high as possible as you can imagine, and always remember that even though we are from Indonesia, but Indonesia is also can be a great country like South Korea, America, and etc. We can also get bigger than them, and always give your best in everything you do. Do it with your love, and wholeheartedly, like always put your discipline and a lot of effort into it. But you have also always remember to maintain your balanced life. Always take care of your family also, and your mental health also, and you can have your me time also. So in order to be a very best version of your life, you cannot just being work hard all the time. You have to sometimes you have to lay back also. So as long as you keep it balanced, I guess you can enjoy your life to the fullest, I guess. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Livia, as her opinion about this Korean entertainment as Indonesian youth generation. We must be have high dreams that we are with that our nation Indonesia can as big as South Korean one or maybe the American US and the other country. And maybe the second one is we could maintain our life balance. We must have a schedule for our activity or maybe routines in daily life. Or maybe we could have me time, or maybe we could as we say that we must love ourselves. Okay, thank you, Miss Livia, for your opinion about this. Maybe there is another opinion, maybe another between this audience. Okay, Mr. Hu, I give you chance.
Thanks for the chance given. Yeah, essentially, I don't know what is the topic discussed, but I would like to share my opinion regarding to this topic. Asians of Indonesia who are the most valuable, energetic, also open-minded generation for the nation's future with this case in globalization effect. Which country boundaries cultures are fused? What should we do? As far as I'm concerned, that we can take for I do agree with Miss Livia's opinion. Like we there are two kinds of matters or issues, such as positive side and also the negative side. But it's better of taking the positive side, such as self-discipline, self-disruption, and so on, because we believe that there is no um, developed developed country or developing country means we will face it. Uh, how to say developed? Hmm, how to say it in English? Yeah, developed. As I think developed. But when we don't want to be disrupted by this case, we can take the example. We can be as the promoter, not only when we, for instance, yeah, I will give analogy first. For instance, we study on abroad, but we don't need to be afraid of uh, uh, admitting or confessing as Indonesian, like the culture of Indonesian and so on, because each nation has unique culture, such as we can take for the from the one of the thing or positive side we try to apply, we try to absorb their good thing to be applied in this country, but we don't only enrich by myself, but we try to accept it and try to share it. But not only about that, we try to be a promoter, not only be a passenger. Yeah, we don't need to be passenger when we learn something useful and try to share it, and we can be a driver because driver can uh, how to say the driver not only sit but they try to set the metrics or the strategy because if we are passenger so we just sit and it depends on the driver itself, but when we are as a driver we think that what about when we are in the traffic jam, so we have to look for the how to say another way to arrived in that decision. Yeah, maybe that like that. I don't know. It's random. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hu, for your opinion about this. As we do in face with the good side also and dark side in Korean entertainment. As a nation, we must be a promoter, not be a passenger one. So we must be a driver. That means we could set our future. Then we just follow another culture. Okay, thank you all for your response about this discussion, and then I'll give you the solution. Maybe it's from me. Please wait a second. Okay, maybe I will read another solution because I have a trouble with this PowerPoint in laptop. Maybe the solution from me as we face the dark side of Korean entertainment, the solution is civic and character value must be intensified among the Indonesian young generation. The second one is deepening our knowledge of norms and cute value based on our religions. And the third, be ourselves and be wise. Instead, the impact of this Korean wave in this globalization era. And the last one, as give you inspiration, we must learn from the Japanese people, the history of Japanese people, who could adopt the technologies and modernity from the Western countries in the late of 19th century. But until now, they still have their own spirit. They still have their own identity. Instead, they are a most modern country in the world by now than before era. But they are still be the I mean they are still Japanese. They are not be a Western one. Maybe they are not be the another one nation. They are modernized, but they are still have their own spirit for their life in a country. Okay, thank you for your coming to this discussion. Maybe this is the last of this discussion. Okay, thank you for your attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Maybe I will give to Miss Aldo.
Thank you, Mr. Ardi. Give applause to him. Well, it's very nice discussion. As always, before we end, Mr. Ardi, could you please stop presenting? Okay, before we end, let me give you some feedback of the day. Okay, as always, but I believe that you guys have been familiar with these issues. But again, it is our habit to do some to deliver some feedback. So I didn't write a lot of things, but I did enjoy our discussion tonight. But I could still notice some issues that I may deliver here. So first of all, okay, as you can see, there's some common expressions that we usually use, okay, like I think or in my opinion. Jadi ada I think and you may paraphrase it to other specific vocabularies like I suppose, I guess, or I'd say. Well, it's when you are less sure with your ideas, you could say this, okay, I suppose, I guess, I'd say. On the other hand, when you feel very strongly with your ideas, you may say, I believe, okay, I'm convinced, I'm certain, or I'm sure, in order to paraphrase, I think. Okay, I think is one of the most common expressions that people use. It's okay to use it, but it is better for you to paraphrase it to other expressions in order to improve your lexical resource. And additionally, I also have some feedback on this issue. I heard that someone saying, I am agree, okay? Which is supposed to be I agree, because I am agree is wrong, since I agree is a verb. So you need to say, you don't need to say am. Okay. So instead of saying I am agree, you can say I agree. Very danger. Remember, very must be followed by an adverb. So instead of saying very danger, you can say very dangerous, because danger is a noun meaning bahaya, ya, bukan berbahaya. Or you can paraphrase it to hazardous. Without too fanatic, you should say without being too fanatic. So preposition must be followed by noun phrase. Then I lost some words previously, so I heard that some people or some of you, one of you said supremacy civil. Oke, ini kayaknya Mr. Cikoneng tadi ya. Harusnya civil supremacy. Kemudian tidak manusiawi. You might say inhuman. Okay, I heard one of you also saying this. And furthermore, I have another issue, which is about pronunciation. One person said industry, okay, which is supposed to be industry, okay, not industry but industry. Then not identity but identity. Okay, and one of you said effort, which is supposed to be effort. Okay, it's not effort but effort. Well, I'll send this feedback to our group, okay, as always, and this is all that I could deliver to you guys. Thank you. Let me stop sharing. Sorry if I have so many mistakes too, okay, in making this feedback. All right, before we end, it's time for us to take some pictures. So you guys, please share your handsome and beautiful face. Could you please show your video? Miss Gusti, Ayusari, Miss Livia, Miss Sophie, Miss Wafda, and Miss Riri. Hi, Miss Ari, long time no see. Oh, it's you. Miss Riri, Miss Sophie, Miss Wafda. Okay, thank you, Miss Riri. Miss Wafda, Miss Sophie. Miss Sophie seems to be not want to share her video. It's okay. Miss Wafda. All right. I think we can do it. Mr. Ku, please.
Thank you. Yeah, let me count it. 1, 2, 3, smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, once more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ku, for taking some pictures. Well, that's all that I could deliver to you guys. And the last I say, before we close our talk, as usual, we always say our jargon. When I say otak community, you should say yesterday, we said tomorrow, okay? And otak community,
Yesterday, you said tomorrow.
tomorrow. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Okay, thank
See you,
you.
sir. Thanks.